In early Christian art, vermilion became the most precious of colors, reserved for the most sacred of subjects.
An icon depicts not mere human persons, not mere matter, not mere creation, but human persons, matter shot through with the glory of God. It's matter transformed, transfigured, and lightened by God's light, by God's presence.
But the glory of vermilion was to be overtaken by an extraordinary color from a distant land. A color that would transform the religious and cultural life of Europe.
Marco Polo va aller justement vers l'Orient. Il va découvrir en Afghanistan des mines de lapislazzuli et ça va être le premier qui, en revenant, va dire c'est la couleur la plus pure et la plus belle que je n'ai jamais vue.
From before the time of the pharaohs, the world's best and most expensive lapislazzuli came from this mine in northern Afghanistan. This striking blue pigment is still mined here today. It was the Italians who gave the brilliant blue a magical name, ultramarine, meaning from beyond the seas. Dr. Muriel Vervat and her team from the Uffizi Gallery in Florence are working on a 14th century altarpiece. In the past 600 years, it's undergone a number of restorations.
E questo si può utilizzare per riuscire a riconoscere pigmenti che all'occhio, che nel visibile appaiono più o meno nello stesso, uguali, ma che sono in realtà nell'infrarosso sono
diverse. Esatto.
The team suspect that restorers in the 18th century used an inferior cobalt blue. They resort to infrared scans to find out.
Magari se ci sono dei pigmenti che non sono ovviamente trecenteschi o che sono comunque successivi, se troviamo, non so, dei ritocchi al cobalto, praticamente siamo sicurissimi che quel pigmento non è originale. Eccolo qua.
Si può vedere la componente infrarossa. È una cosa che si può vedere che mentre il blu, cioè l'azzurro delle ali dell'angelo diventano rosse, che potrebbe essere indice della presenza di lapislazzuli, il manto della Madonna rimane molto scuro. E questo potrebbe essere dato da ridipinture successive, quindi con materiali diversi.
Muriel Vervat is on her way to visit a man who nurtures the old ways of color making. Massimo Zecchi's family have been making color in Florence for over 300 years.
J'aurais besoin d'un beau bleu bien intense parce que c'est une vierge qui a un manteau qui est très sombre et avec des chutes de couleurs qui sont importantes et donc j'aurais bien aimé avoir quelque chose
on a la meilleure qualité maintenant.
Oui, oui.
Nous avons un très beau pierre de lapislazzuli de l'Afghanistan.
To turn the semi-precious lapis stone into brilliant ultramarine, it's ground up. The purer the lazurite, the more intense the pigment. In the late Middle Ages, Florentine painter Cennino Cennini described the process.
Get some good lapis, the richest in the blue color. That which contains the least ash color is the best. Pound it in a bronze mortar. Take a coveted sieve such as the druggists use for sifting drugs and sift it, and pound it again as you find necessary. And bear in mind, the more finely you work it, the finer the blue will come out. 6 ounces of gum mastic, 3 ounces of new wax for each pound of lapis. Put all these things into a new pipkin and melt them together.
C'est bon pour vous, c'est pour votre travail?
Ah oui, ce sera parfait. Mais le bleu lapislazzuli était quelque chose d'absolument extraordinaire, même pour nous qui travaillons dessus. C'est quelque chose qui éblouit. Quand on commence à retoucher et qu'on utilise une couleur qui est la même que la couleur originelle, et donc on obtient exactement la même luminosité, la même intensité, d'un seul coup, c'est comme si tout devenait compact de nouveau. C'est comme si on voyait apparaître certains petits détails qui étaient tout simplement en sommeil, quoi. Et ça, c'est des moments vraiment extraordinaires.
By the Renaissance of the 15th century, the church wasn't the only patron of the arts. Merchants made rich by trade started commissioning their own works. Painting took on a more secular flavour.
At the same time as this class was emerging, the sort of intellectual life of Europe was changing. It was the age of so-called humanism, and it eventually led to a change in the way people visualized the world through art. They began to think about the world in more naturalistic terms. Painters and artists began to depict scenes as we would see them more realistically. That also led to a demand for more colour, because if you want to paint the world naturalistically, then you need the colours that you see out there.
The new colours arrived by the expanding trade routes. Artists started mixing them with oil rather than egg. It was a technological breakthrough with dramatic results.
These oils are much slower to dry, and they give a different sort of consistency to the paint. So what this encouraged was the use of techniques for blending colours together. You could create a sort of more subtle mix, and also you could create these warmer tones, these warm flesh tones that we tend to associate with Renaissance art.
The new colours fueled an age of artistic genius. Thoughts of piety may have lurked in the background, but Renaissance artists were liberated to revel in the depiction of natural beauty. By the late 18th century, the colonial powers had carved up the world. Colours from the colonies were in great demand. A significant part of the wealth that flowed to Europe came from dyes. Dyes from flowers, vegetables, wood, and animal products. The challenge has always been to stop dyes fading, to make their colour fast. For over 5,000 years in the Middle East and India, they used mordants like alum and other metal salts, and sometimes even urine to fix the colour. A dye is different from a pigment in that it's absorbed by another material, while a pigment tends to sit on the surface like paint. Red from poppies, yellow from saffron, blue from indigo,